Welcome to 10 TV Plus. I've got my man over here, Jay Plyburn, and we got a jam-packed show for you guys here this morning. We got a lot of stuff here. Jay, we had a lot of rain this weekend. Did you enjoy the change of pace?
You know what? I don't mind the rain, especially in a situation where we need the rain. I don't go outside as much when it's raining, so it affected a little bit of our weekend plans, but good to have a little bit of rain.
I think it was good, too, to have it on a Sunday, though.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe a little sleepy Sunday.
Yeah, instead of on a Monday morning when folks are heading back to work and school. But today we are going to be looking at some big changes here. So I want to start off kind of recapping the rain that we had this weekend, and then we'll talk a little bit about the drought. Take a look here at downtown Columbus. This is actually at John Glenn Airport. We had about 9/10 of an inch of rainfall here. This was the jackpot. You head to Lancaster. You head off to Washington Courthouse. They had a little bit less rainfall, but if you watched this last week, I stood right here and I said, folks, we're going to be looking at a ½ inch to an inch of rain. That's exactly what happened, so I'm happy about that. Circleville in Delaware got about a ½ inch to 3/4 of an inch there. And so now, for the month of November, this is a milestone we have not seen in quite some time. We are now above average for rainfall. The monthly total, 1.25 inches. We're about 1/3 of an inch above average compared to where we should be for this time of the year. Now, as we go back to June, this kind of tells a different story. If we look at June, July, August, September, October, November, here's a look at some of the rainfall totals, and we barely had even half of what we should have for the last 6 months or so. And in fact, look at October. October, we had only 1/4 of an inch of rainfall, and a lot of that fell on Halloween. If we go back from June the 1st, our rainfall departure from average is about 10 inches. So that means that we are missing about 11 inches of rainfall from what we should have. As we look at the drought comparison from last week to this week, things have got a little bit worse up to the north. So like Mansfield, Bucyrus, we've been seeing that severe drought increasing in coverage. And then as we look at this week, notice how this week we're seeing a lot more orange here. Again, I'll step out of the way, comparing last week from this week. Look at Bucyrus, Marion, Mansfield. They're seeing a lot worse of a drought up there. I don't know about you. I'm a numbers guy. I'm a visual guy. So I got to look at this and actually compare it side by side. As it stands right now, 58% of Ohio still has that severe drought. That is up 6% from what we saw last week at this time. So we're not exactly where we should be, but the good news, though, is that we are starting to make a 180 turnaround with this pattern, and things are going to be favoring above average rainfall as we head into the future. All right, let's walk you through exactly what you can expect. We're looking at a lot of sunshine out there today. It'll be pretty windy, especially through the afternoon. Wind again as we head into your Tuesday. And then, yes, our next system rolls into the region on Thursday. We'll circle back around and talk about that coming up here in just a bit. Meanwhile, here's that cold front that we saw last night. On the backside of that, high pressure is moving in. What do we know about high pressure? We have that clockwise flow. So now we got a northerly wind. That north wind is just going to usher in that cooler air heading into the next 48 hours. Today, it's all about the sunshine. We're going to be looking at some clouds increasing here overnight tonight. Look at this. We have a west wind and then a north wind. We have a cold front rolling on through the area tonight. This is not strong enough to necessarily trigger any showers, but it will enhance the cloud cover. And with that north wind, it will allow the temperatures to drop like a rock as we head into the day tomorrow. When you're waking up tomorrow morning, here's my thoughts. I think some of you that live outside the metro area, I would prepare to have a little bit of frost on the windshield tomorrow, just a little bit. So you might need the ice scraper early on your Tuesday morning. As we head into Tuesday afternoon, look at this. 11:35 in the morning, we get the clouds out of here. We're looking at a bright blue sky as we head into tomorrow. But look at that northeast wind, and that means one thing. Wednesday morning will be even colder than what we see here on Tuesday morning. Okay, so I promised you that we would have more rain for the middle of the week. Let's talk about that. Notice here on the hour by hour, we're not talking about Monday or Tuesday. We're going right to Wednesday. High pressure shifts off towards Maine. All right, here we go. Our next system starts kind of creeping in across the upper plains into the Midwest. Thursday, we're going to be looking at showers all day long. Here's what we know, though. This storm on Thursday will be weaker than the one on Sunday. We're looking at upwards of 1/4 to a ½ inch of rainfall, winds upwards of 25, maybe a few gusts up to 30. But this low pressure system won't be quite as strong as the one that we saw yesterday. So that should be pretty nice. Thursday and Friday, high pressure build back in, and it should be pretty quiet as we head into the start of the weekend. All right, let's talk about that Thursday rainfall potential. This will favor the southern half of the area. Southeast Ohio could be looking at upwards of an inch of rain when all is said and done. North and west of town looking at only about a half inch. And so rainfall amounts not quite as remarkable. As we look at the temperatures, though, look at this. Today, we're sitting in the 60s. By tomorrow, though, it is our one lone day where temperatures are below average, and then we spike back up heading into Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. We have a dip in the upper level jet stream here. You can see it right here. Look at that cold air, the blue on the map. That cold air pours into the region going into the next couple of days. You'll definitely feel that relief out there. All right, let's get a look here at your Monday weather report, and you'll notice that as we head towards Monday afternoon, look at the wind right here, 20 to 25 mile per hour wind gusts. So hairspray, definitely something that you'll want out here for today. Going into the day on Thursday, still tracking that potential rain, about 1/4 to 3/4 of an inch. But you head up to western PA, they could be looking at half an inch as well. With all these wildfires going on, we desperately need the rainfall, and I'm glad that we're getting it. And then as we get a look here at Sunday, here's the next 6 to 10 day outlook. So this would be valid November the 17th to the 21st. We have a 90% probability of above average temperatures. And then as we look at rainfall, also looking at about a 60% probability of above average precipitation. As we head towards Saturday and Sunday, temperatures will be warming up to around 60. And then as we head towards the weekend, at least things should be pretty dry out here as we head into Friday night. I know we got Friday night lights for the first and 10 games. Should be looking pretty good for that.
So if you're all about the warmth and the sunny conditions, soak it up today because it's pretty much cooler the rest of the work week.
And I think what's going to be remarkable is that if you look at every day so far in November, and then you look at this upcoming week, only one day, that is tomorrow, will actually be below average.
Yeah.
And so folks are like, oh, it's getting colder out here. It's like, well, it's actually below or it's above where we should be for this time of year.
Yeah, for the most part. I found it interesting about the rain, too. People are quick to complain about the rain, but there was quite a deficit when it came to the rain up until we got that rain.
About 11 inches. Yeah, so that's like that much rain. That's a lot of rainfall that you're missing.
Yeah, no doubt.
All right.
Caught up.
Time now for trivia this morning.
I'm ready for it.
I got a good question for you. You didn't live here last winter, so you might
I did not.
You might not get this one right, but you guys at home might have a pretty good ganter at what the answer could be. What was our biggest snowstorm last winter? Was it 4.4 inches, 26.2 inches, 13 inches, or 1 inch? What do you think?
Well, it's just a shot in the dark at this point. I think I would have heard about more than 2 feet of snow in this area. This isn't far from where my parents live. And I'm thinking 1 inch is not enough, so I got to guess in the middle. I'm going to say 13 inches. I'm going to guess C.
All right. Well, you are way off.
Oh, it was only 4.
Only 4. Yeah, we didn't get much snow last season. So if you like snowmobiling or anything like that, it was not your year.
But 4 inches is enough to make it pretty. I mean, that's a nice picturesque scene.
A little bit of snowfall, yeah, especially if you get it around Christmas. But it was just kind of bare bones dry through most of December. Very gray last year, but we didn't quite get that much snowfall, not until February. And as we get a look here at some of our climate extremes going back in time, the hottest day was back at the end of August, August the 30th. Who could forget how hot this summer was? 98 degrees was the temperature. Coldest days, January 15th and the 20th here, 6 degrees at night. Those would be the morning lows. And then we had 2 inches of rainfall. This was our wettest day back on April the 2nd, over 2 inches of rainfall. That's more than twice the rainfall that we had this past weekend. So hopefully that can kind of put it in context for you. And then there you go. There's a look at that weather trivia question for today. The snowiest day back on February the 16th. We had 4.4 inches on that day. Now, as we take a closer look at national snow coverage, here we are. You can see from the Rockies up towards the north. The Rockies right now have some snow. They actually got their first major snowstorm just a couple days ago. And as we look at the last couple of winters, last winter at this time, it was actually worse than right now. Look how little snowfall we had across the lower 48. And then as we go back another winter to November of 2022, you'll notice that most of the snow was across the upper Great Plains, North Dakota, Idaho, Wyoming, Montana. So we didn't really see a whole lot 2 years ago either. Now, as we look at our average first snow, typically based on climatology, in central Ohio, you can see it right there, our average first trace is on November the 20th, and then our average first inch of snow happens on December the 15th. Hopefully this year we'll get a little bit of snowfall as we head into December, because it's always nice, Jay, to have a little bit here around Christmas time.
So what I'm picking up from this graphic is the first trace is only about a week away at this point, but the first inch, we've still got a month before,
And we're not going to be
average.
anywhere close to climatology this year. I
No?
mean, even
No snow in the forecast?
No, not anytime soon, but we're hoping that we can get a little bit as we head at least closer to Christmas, kind of make things a little bit more festive out there.
Yeah. White Christmas is always nice.
Well, if you woke up on Sunday, I know some of you have sent in emails to us saying that like you smelt a little bit of smoke out there in the air. The interesting thing, Jay, is that we actually looked into this. There's a lot of wildfires going on because there's been drought-stricken conditions. And so what we're seeing here is some of that smoke traveling into central Ohio. Meteorologist Michael Behrens takes a closer look at what exactly caused that smoke.
Hey there, guys. Of course, one of the things we love to do here at 10 TV is answer your weather questions. And we got several over the weekend, including this one via email from Cynthia, who was asking basically why much of central Ohio on Sunday was smelling like a campfire. That's certainly a good question because there's not really any wildfires nearby, at least nearby Columbus. There was some reported fires across southern Ohio and in Indiana. Those are most likely brush fires, but we got to take a look at the wind directions. With the weather system coming through, we had that southerly wind coming in from the southwesterly from Indiana, and while the brush fires aren't likely to make it smell like smoke, the bigger fires are. The fires down in West Virginia carried in by the southerly winds, and the fires out west carried in from those westerly winds. Breaking down in more detail why we get that smell, though, of course, the smoke from those fires goes well up into the atmosphere. That can actually get trapped under an inversion layer. That's where temperatures are actually warmer higher up in the atmosphere. From there, the winds blow that smoke and that smoke smell along. That can be enough to get the smells into our region, but you combine it with the rain that we had this weekend, trapping those smoke particles, bringing them down to the surface, and that can help to enhance that smoky smell like what we saw this weekend as well. Of course, we always love to share your photos and answer your questions here at 10 TV. You can find us on social media or by texting us at 614-460-3345.
Well, the good news as it pertains to that smoke is that we had the rain yesterday. We've got more coming in on Thursday, so hopefully that can kind of alleviate some of the wildfires out here. But I think over the next couple of days, you might notice a little bit more haze out there as you look outside.
I'll be watching for it.
Yeah, for sure. Might be able to smell it. It could impact the air quality too. All right, that is it here for your weather on 10 TV Plus. Make sure to tune in. Jerry Martz will have more weather tonight at 4, 5, and 6 o'clock. We'll see you then.